Okay, good morning, y'all. So it's what, Wednesday morning. It's 8:15, and Zach just left in the other truck. We don't have a lot on the list as far as properties go, but we got about $600 worth. So, and it's going to be really hot today. I think today it's 85 degrees right now. It's 8:15 in the morning. So I must confess, I was wrong. And the Scag mower keeps throwing curveballs at me that I don't know. It never really occurred to me. And I'm not gonna really, dog the actual mower out itself. I'm just dogging out all the maintenance stuff. I'm coming from, the Exmark mowers. I'm coming from, the sealed bearings where you don't have to grease nothing. And so and you guys have showed me something, man, and I really appreciate it. Okay, so on the Scag mower, man, y'all know I did all the crying the other day about the blades, and it never occurred to me when I bought the Scag mower a couple things that you should consider when you're buying a lawnmower. It just never occurred to me because I never had to face it until FE Lawn Care came in the comments and says, Ray, there are definitely grease ports on the spindles. Okay, and I looked for them. I washed the mower off and looked for them. I never saw them. Of course, Scag has them on the inside, back on the, they can't just have them on the top or on the side where, it's facing outside the mower. They got to have them on the inside. If you're on the right side of the mower, they got the damn grease fitting on the left side of the pulley. Their engineers need to be slapped. I think every engineer that designs mowers should have to get out here and do the maintenance on a mower. It would make them better. I just find it hard to believe. But so after 300 hours on the Scag, last night after I was reading some of the comments from FE Lawn Care, he insisted, and I'm glad that he did, he insisted that there are grease fittings underneath the pulleys, on the deck. He said all Scags are like that. Now, okay, I don't know. My 2007 Ferris mower has grease fittings on the spindles too, but their grease fittings is on the top. Well, Scag can't do that because they too busy running a long bolt up through there. So that's one thing that that is a big difference in Scag and any mower I've ever had. Scag mowers are almost like, the decks are almost like the old walk behind mowers. It seemed like as soon as Exmark could get away from that design, they did. But so after it's 10:45 last night, and when FE Lawn Care services came on the comments and was telling me, he insisted it. So it started bothering me. I'm like, are you serious, man? So I pulled out the Scag book. I never read the directions or nothing. So I pulled out the Scag book and I looked under the maintenance, and it didn't really give you a good visual. At least I didn't see it, but it was 11 o'clock at night. So I went out to the garage and I was determined to find FE Lawn Care wrong. I was like, there's not no damn grease ports on this thing. And he insisted there were, and I'm telling him there's not, and he's like, yeah, there is. And so I went out there to prove him wrong. I went out there, I was gonna take the camera out there and take a picture. So I went out to the garage at 10:45 last night, and I got to feeling around them. I didn't feel anything. I got a screwdriver, kind of got a little bit of the crud out from around it. Of course, it was on the inside. And there it was. 3 fittings for grease. 300 hours in, and I ain't never greased the spindles, y'all. And they're saying grease them after every 40 hours. Needless to say, I greased the crap out of them. And now I know. So, you know, no matter how much experience you got out here, I'm still learning even today. There are some good things about the Scag, though. I'm not going to just, you know, the other night I'm cursing Scag, and maybe, you know, maybe I was a little bit, well, I know for a fact I was angry with the blade thing. So, you know, but now that I see the grease ports on the spindles, I know that I'll know to do that, you know. But just FYI, they'll go 300 hours without any problem. I'm just saying, y'all, they will, man. I mean, because I've been 300 hours, and y'all see the kind of stuff I cut, 300 hard hours, you know, without greasing the spindles at all. And to be honest, they didn't really hold that much grease, you know, before it started coming out everywhere. So, FE Lawn Care was saying, get you one of those locking things on, you know, for the grease gun, you know. And I have one. I bought this. I've had it for about 2 weeks now. I haven't put it on my grease gun yet, but this is a Saker, that's what they call it, grease gun coupler lock, and it's supposed to. It's heavy duty, man. It feels heavy duty as hell. So you screw this on to the grease gun, right? And then this right here goes onto your fitting. And once you get it on the grease gun, you just mash that down, and you see how it opens that goes in, and then when you put it back on there, it clamps down on it, man, hardcore. It ain't no cheap one, it's a good one. I know they probably make them cheaper, but I ordered it. I saw an advertisement on YouTube, and I bought it. It took about 3 weeks to get it, but it's heavy, man. So, you know, because I've been running into that kind of thing with the Bobcat, you know, where I put the fitting it on there, and it you know, the grease don't go in, or it starts coming out the sides, or whatever. So I already got one of these, buddy. So I'm gonna put it on my grease gun. Well, come on. Yeah, come on. There we go. So I'm gonna put this on my grease gun, and so I can get to those things a little bit better. Now, those ones underneath the damn pulley, those fittings down there, I don't even know if that thing will fit up underneath there. I mean, they could have. I just don't know what Scag's thinking, man. I really don't. I mean, their mowers are great mowers, you know, and all that. Their mowers are built like tanks, and you know, they cut good too. They do, you know. Can't cry about none of that, but they're not very user friendly when it comes to the maintenance stuff. That's all. So me and Zach got what we got. We ain't got many, y'all. 1, 2, 3. We got 6 properties we're gonna do today. That's it. That's it. I had one customer, and she's starting to play games. You know, it's a commercial site, and it's a office building, and these folks don't like to spend money on nothing. And so whenever I go over there and do that office that they got, you know, they own it. They, you know, they don't work there or nothing, but they own it. And it's one of the big properties on the $1 Million Street. It's one of their rentals or whatever. And they rent space out to, you know, it's like a little medical office. And so I'm scheduling up. It's been 2 weeks today, and I called her or text her last night and said, hey, we'll be over there at Bradley tomorrow. And keep in mind, I picked up the neighbor there too, right? And these properties are about, you know, a 15-minute ride from my house, 20-minute ride from my house one way. And so she texts me back and says, oh, you think you could put us off, you know, another week because we're having work done at the building. You know, I don't believe they're having work done at the building. I mean, some of the tenants at that building, and it's a commercial building, you know, one guy comes out every time I go over there and talking to me about, hey, can we do this, can we do that? And I'm telling him, you know, the tenant, hey, they gotta, you know, they're not paying me to do any of that. And you can just tell they haven't taken care of the property. They bought it, and it's a new property for them, but they haven't done anything to, you know. The first time I went over there, the guy came outside and said, man, I'm so glad somebody finally came over here, you know, and he was dogging, you know, the owners out, saying they don't do nothing, they don't help. You know, that he's been trying to get somebody to get them to get somebody over here to cut the grass for, you know, a month. And it got a bunch of bamboo growing all around the building too. It's pretty bad. They need to spend some big money. Not big money. They could probably spend $5 grand. Y'all seen me over there. I trimmed a tree up so I could park underneath it. Didn't charge them for that, you know. But I picked up the property next door. So now the property next door, he, you know, he's cool. He's like, yeah, man, every 2 weeks, I don't want to have to worry about it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, cool. So, but see, now this lady on the other property is fixing to knock that hustle there, because I don't want to go do that one and not do that one, right? And I don't know, man, it just bothers the hell out of me that they, you know, she's playing games, you know, already. And at the end of the day, well, what's happening, I know what is happening. See, 1 week I do her personal property. The next week I do that commercial property. So she's paying, so she's looking at her damn bank account or looking at her Zelle, whatever she looks at, and she's saying she's paying me a couple $100 a week. And she ain't liking that. She ain't liking that at all. Because one thing about me is I'm one of the most consistent folks you'll ever meet. I'm very, you know, consistent in, you know, showing up and all that, as long as the weather permits. So she knocked me out. She's going to end up knocking me out of doing that other property too, because I don't even want to drive up there if I'm not doing both the properties, right? I don't. I may end up doing the other one and then we'll just have to wait 2 more weeks to do that one. That's probably what I should do. But if I wait 2 more weeks, that'll be a month out, you know. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to end up doing the other one or not. The other one's pretty easy. I've been spraying it and everything. See, once the customer starts playing games like that, even though I do more than one of their properties, they're very hard to deal with. It took her 4 days to Zelle me for last Friday's work. I just got the money yesterday, or day before yesterday, you know, on the Zelle. And this is the Spanish style looking house over there on the $1 Million Street, in case y'all know, wondering which ones. But she don't like having to pay me every week, because the way she's doing, she's paying me every week. She's paying me for their personal property 1 week, and then the next week she's paying me for but you know, she's just always have been like that. If I didn't have those other properties on the $1 Million Street, I would drop this customer. And I've had it out, and I've shown it on video where me and her have had conversations on the phone where me and her have really gone at it on the phone. Her husband, you know, he values my work. He values my time. She don't. I mean, last year she came out there and told my guys to cut it lower. And so of course my guys are going to do what the customer asked to do, but when she did that, the grass was clumped all up, left clumps everywhere, and then she wanted me to so the guys cut it lower, and then she called me, well, the yard looks terrible. You know, and I'm like, well, you told my guys to cut it lower. I said, we're not gonna cut it 4 times in one sitting. You know, and I told her I was gonna quit her. I mean, that's what I told her. I said, look, this is not hardly worth it to me. I said, you changing the script, you're messing with our timing, and I'm not gonna let you do that. You know, not for, you know, 150 bucks, 170 bucks. I said, we got a lot of other properties we're gonna do, and you can't get me to do the properties for the cheap, and then call back and complain after you done went out there and told my guys to lower the mowers. And I wasn't there yet. I was headed that way, and once I got there, they had already been cutting for about 45 minutes on a low setting, a lower setting than I would have told them. And so I told her, and there's a video somewhere, it's last summer, where I was gonna quit her. I told her it wasn't worth it to me no more. I don't want to do it anymore. And see, once a customer, you know, ruffles my feathers like that, and doing things like that, and then on top of, you know, playing games with the pay, the timing, you know, all these things, makes it where you just want to drop them, you know. But in this economic time right now, I'm kind of scared to drop any customers, so I'm taking a little bit more flack than what I would normally. I wouldn't normally even go through all of this if we were in good economic times. But I would hate to lose that property to, or quit that property, because they'd have to get somebody to cut it. And then that one person that cut it might end up stealing the other properties that I got over there. And that's what you have to think about when you're me. Now I have those other 3 I do on that street, and it's a very lucrative street when you can do them all in one day. Now, don't get me wrong, this customer's always paid me. She's just made it a little more difficult than normal. That's just the fact. So, it's just unnecessary, you know. Her husband is a lot easier to deal with, and if it wasn't for him, I would have been done quit them. You know, he knows his wife's difficult to deal with, and she's gonna make it where either I deal with the husband or I don't deal with him at all. I don't know, man. I just don't. These customers, man, they'll drag the hell out of you if you let them. They will. You know, for the most part, the customers are great, but you got some that boy, they'll rub you all kind of the wrong way. Anyway, so yeah, y'all, so I just pulled up to the property where I told you the lady didn't want me to come because she said they doing work on the property over here. See, she didn't know that I do the one next door. So I pull up over here, park in the same place, and there ain't nobody here working on anything. See, I told y'all, she'll lie. Just straight lying, trying to save, you know, she plays a lot of games, man. You know, it is what it is, man. So yeah, so like I said, I pulled up over here and there ain't nobody working over here. It really upsets me, man, that she, you know, that she likes to play all these kitty games with Ray. But yeah, I mean, ain't nothing you can do about it though, you know. It's just, you know, keep on going with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this one, and it'll be 2 more weeks before I come over here and cut this one. And if she, yeah. The tenants here are gonna have a fit though, because the tenant is very proactive yard, because it's his business here, and the yard is a reflection of his business, and for them not to, you know, want to me to cut it today, I mean, it looks pretty bad already. If we get any rain between now and 2 weeks from now, it's going to be off the chain. And then what I'll do, since she wants to play games with me, what I'll do is I'll play games with her. Yeah, I mean, I might even fuck around and drop this one. Don't even want to do it anymore. You know, this property. I know for sure that when she calls me and tells me it's ready to get cut again, that I'm going to put it off for a few days. You know. I don't like customers playing games with me, and I don't like them lying to me. I knew she was lying when she said it. Alright, y'all, I'm tired, man. I really ain't got a whole lot to talk about. Y'all know what it is, man. It's Sammy Time Wednesday. Peace out.